Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the workshop. It's fantastic to have you here. I'm wondering if anyone ever actually watches the intros to these live streams. So, if you ever see that, let me know. All right. Looking for a thing. Hello, hello. Welcome to a workshop live stream. For a change. Trying to be very gentle with this faux jewel. It tends to crack rather easily. So cutting a jewel spacer. It's a nice lapis lazuli cut through with gold. Should look nice. It's going to be sandwiched between African bloodwood and Australian she oak. Should make for a nice handle. It's going to be very pretty, I think. Obviously it'll look a little bit different when oiled, but that's the basic color lineup. I reckon that's going to look nice. And I still have enough for another spacer. Any of you who tuned into last night's live stream will recognize this, but it's now been polished. It's the buffalo horn bolster I made for the little ski and do dagger. That's another thing we'll be making a handle for today. Out of what? I have no idea. But first we've got to glue this up. Hope everyone's having a fantastic morning, or afternoon, or evening, or midnight, wherever you are. It's morning here, 10:40 in the morning to be accurate. Nope, no one? Okay, cool. I should probably put that somewhere where it's not going to get scratched. Right there, will do. Alright. So, now I need. There's going to be a lot of moments like this where I'm just staring up into space, wondering where I've put things. Wondering what the next step is. The next step for me is to get a clamp and some glue. So we'll go to the workshop. I'll bring you with me rather than leaving you to sit out here watching an empty workshop. we are. Araldite. Popsicle stick. Clamp. What kind of clamp do I want to use? I'd like to use an F clamp, but most of my F clamps are relatively large. Yes, I think we'll use an F clamp. Hopefully I have a spare. That one would be nice. Other F clamp? Don't think so. Oh well. We shall make do. We have Araldite at least. Huh. I may have to use my shop F clamp. That could be awkward. Morning. Wait, am I doing the same thing again? Please tell me. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, hi guys. I'm really sorry. That's the second time this has done it to me. Normally the chat immediately shows up when I start live streaming, but for some reason it was for some reason it just wasn't working. Hi Bryant, Aaron, Daniel, Granddads, Jared. No, so it's not 6 a.m. New Mexico, cool. Bryant, I got this grinder from a company here in Australia. It's called the Fire Ant, or are you talking about the wood grinder? It depends on which grinder you're talking about. If you're talking about the 2x72, that's the Fire Ant. That's made by a company called Fire Pants Fabrication here in WA. Well, it was in WA, now it's in South Australia. They do ship worldwide. They're an awesome machine. If you're talking about this one, it's the Hafco Woodmaster. It's basically an off-brand wood grinder. Good evening, B&B. How you doing, mate? All right. So I was on the lookout for a clamp, but the clamp I was thinking about getting wasn't where I wanted it to be. So back to the workshop. So I'll have to use my shop F clamp. Not ideal, but you make do with what you've got. Dum-da-dum-dum. It's probably going to be a few trips back and forth to the little, but that's okay. I like having this little portable tripod. It's very useful. All right. So, for those of you who just tuned in, what we're doing right now is stacking up a set of blocks, or 2 blocks and a spacer, of Australian she oak, lapis lazuli jewel, and paddock, which is African bloodwood. What we're going to do is stack them up like that, and end up making this into a kitchen knife handle. So preset my clamp. Because once this starts going, you really don't want to lollygag. No lollygagging. Oh man, I need to duck out to the shop again. You guys might have to entertain yourself for a second. This is one of the few occasions where I glove up. Oop. Oh, it'll do the job. Just gotta protect my fingies. Latex gloves, they don't always stay together. Well, that's true. I do similar. Setting yourself on fire is part of the fun. Doesn't have to be super sharp, just thin. Using a very long set epoxy, which means I won't be able to work on this specific handle for a couple of days, but it's going to provide the strongest fit up that I can provide at this point. I want to liberally glue everything. That's why I mixed up probably way more than I needed. You want to get a nice thick coating. I want lots of squeeze out, because that's going to guarantee that all of the little gaps and stuff are filled. Not that there should be any gaps, because I ground these to 120 grit. Perfectly flat. I sell locally as well. Unless you're talking to someone else. I do sell on Etsy, but I do sell locally as well. Alright. Into the clamp it goes. Oh Jesus, it's all sliding apart. Get everything lined up. You can all get a bit slippery slidey at this point. Need to adjust the position of that African bloodwood a little bit. This is why I like having the 3-hour work time on this material. Means that I don't have to worry about it setting up on me while I'm gluing. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Cool. So depends on what you're shipping, Bryant. If you're talking about the grinder, then I have no idea because I have never shipped something that large. Yeah, from Australia. Imagine if you contact Jake Mantell at Five Pants Fabrication, he'd be able to give you a better idea. But there you go, that's the stack up. Yeah. So it depends on the knife I'm sending. All of it's done by weight, so, well, weight and speed. So if I'm doing like sending a tiny little knife and I'm sending it express, then it might cost the same as if I send a larger knife by standard post. So, oh dear. Alright, find a safe place for this. Sit her on top of the forge, why don't we? Yeah, so it really does depend on what I'm sending. I've had things cost $20 to send, I've had things cost $75 to send. It really does depend. What do I do with my stick? I always like to leave this lying around so that I can, tell when it's gone off rather than relying on my eyes. I do watch County Line Forge. Recently just subscribed, actually. Caught one of their live streams. Yes, I do. Okay, so that's that. Next is this little dagger. Find a handle block. Because I'm going to do some engraving, I think I want to go with a straight grade, relatively dark block of Jarrah. Not as dark as I'd like it. Don't think I have anything darker. Yes. Hello, Ouroboros. How you doing? So, we'll go with this Jarrah because I don't have anything darker at the moment. First of all, I'm going to cut a block. You realize that the chat log is still there, Grandad, right? No matter how much you want it to go away, it's still there. Hope you're all having a fine evening over there in the US. Enjoying your cold weather, you bastards. That being said, it's not too bad today. Doo-doo. Yeah, Ting Ting's cool. Yeah, I've never actually seen snow, so I might take you up on that. Snow would be welcome, rather than sweating my bollocks off. Yeah, there are very few states in Australia that get snow. Even in the middle of winter, the only place in WA that gets snow is a place called Bluff Knoll. That's right down south and it's in the middle of nowhere. Shouldn't have pre-cut that. That's okay. It's a cheat if your saw is sticking. Yeah, well, Australia's a nice place if you like sun and you like beaches. We have plenty of both. Hey, we discussed that last night, bro. It's a fabrication. There you go. Final finished dagger handle. That easy. Yeah, I can imagine. Hey, Roy, how you doing, mate? Yeah, fair enough. Well, if you like desert, you'd love Australia. Our landmass is 82% desert. Okay. Square, square. Nice. Not so square. Not so square. Wow, I did a really good job on that. Square. We do have sand fleas. We do indeed have sand fleas. Not as bad as you'd think, though. Thinking I'm missing a pencil. Pencils are awfully useful things. Unfortunately, I do have a pacer here, but it's busted. Well, Australia has its pluses and its minuses. We only have 2 seasons. That's true. If you can see the mark on the wood, you can use a knife as a pencil. Fortunately, I just happen to be a knife maker, so I have a few lying around. I have a Japanese karidashi somewhere. So I cut that at around 2 inches. It's actually 2 1/8. So 1 1/16. I'm using Freedom units for all of you Americans. I'll measure in Freedom units for today. One and 3/16. Whew. Yes, the capital of poisonous wildlife. Yeah, it certainly does make it easier, rather than having to work in various fractions. It would certainly make it easier to work in metric. It does. Scribe does make a very accurate marker. Before I can do anything with that. Yes. I'd like to thank you, Roy, while you're here. Thanks to your bump and your sharing my videos. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there. Very close. Getting very close. Alright, I'm going to move you a little further down. I can't move you all the way to the end of the workshop because unfortunately my internet's that far and you guys might start dropping out. But all I need to do is grind this square, so mask up.
I'm not going to be able to talk to you through this. Yeah, thanks, Roy. You're a legend, mate. Eyes, ears, and lungs. Right.
There you go. Always protect your eyes, ears, and lungs when you're grinding, kids. Yeah, well, that'll be great, Roy. I don't require it of my subscribers, of course, although any support is appreciated. Keep me on the running path. Keep me doing what I want to do. Keep me sharing all awesome tips and tricks I learn as I go. That's what this whole thing was about, after all. Right, now, how deep do I need to drill? Quite a bit deeper than the length of that drill bit. Hopefully, and that's why I squared up the billets, because I don't really need to. Man, my laser is way off. That's on. Yeah, no, I don't need it. I got eyes. I can see. We all do our part, indeed. Yeah, no, that's not a good thing, Jared. You shouldn't be aiming to do that, buddy. Especially drilling the end grain of hardwoods, you want to go slow, light packs. Especially with these really thin drill bits. This is a 2mm drill bit that I'm using. I don't know what that is in freedom units. Well, while that's true, you don't have to, artificially shorten the good time that you have. So I source some of my wood locally. I harvest some of it. I get gifted some of it. Some of it I order in from the States. The African bloodwood I actually got from Chance Knife Making. All those years ago. I'm being really gentle with this bit, but what I'm doing is freehand milling out the slot using the drill bit. It's not the most advisable technique. I in no way endorse doing this, but needs must. unfortunately, I broke my broach about a week ago. So, can't broach this out. And my broach really wasn't really 2 mil anyway, so wouldn't have mattered. But that's the pilot hole drilled. Now I just need to see if I have a long drill bit that will do the rest of the work for me. That's a 3.2. That's a 3.2 as well. Final, that's 3.2. That'd be sad. That's another 3.2. What's this one? That's another 3.2. Ah! So many 3.2s. Oh, well. Okay. That's alright. 3.2 will do. Fortunately, I file fitted the bolster, so it's not going to make a huge difference if there's a gap around the tang. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, one of the, well, you can ship Osage, it just has to be treated, and has to be below, I think it's 8% humidity, 8% moisture. I would buy some milling bits if I had any money, and it's on my list of things to do. 3.2 millimeters is 1/8 of an inch, exactly. And the reason I have so many 3.2 millimeter bits is because back when I first started out, I bought a whole bunch of 1/8 inch pin stock from a supplier in America. But then I couldn't find 1/8 inch drill bits here in Australia. But I found a whole bunch of 3.2s and they fit perfectly. The 1/8 of an inch is actually just a little bit larger than 3.2, which meant that I actually got a pretty tight fit. Now these long drill bits are really weak, so you have to be really super gentle with them. And they bend at the drop of a hat. They're very useful for this kind of operation where you're wanting to drill extended holes. Actually ended up buying these off eBay, so. I've never used Aspen. Yeah, no, I'm not. Not planning on making my handle, 3.2 millimeters wide. Need to drill just that little bit deeper. Do it. Whew. Fun and games. So, I've drilled out my tang slot. Always sounds dirty when I say it. And as you can see, it doesn't fit very far in. And that's because there's a whole bunch of webbing and all that kind of stuff in there. So the next step is to burn. Yeah, for sure, Roy. I'm with you. I'm trying to use both freedom and metric. My main issue at the moment is the smaller measurements, such as 2 millimeters and stuff like that, tends to be a very strange measurement in freedom. I think 2 millimeters is close to 3/32, if I'm correct. If I'm not mistaken. I've dampened this cloth, and I'm using the cloth. One reason I'm using the cloth is because I want it to act as a heat sink. The wet cloth will prevent the heat from destroying the temper on this blade. And the other one is that the cloth protects the steel from the jaws. So the rules for, the conversion is the hard part. The rules for shipping wood to Australia is that it has to meet a certain moisture content, or it has to be finished in some fashion. So if it's varnished or oiled, then they're okay with it. But if it's got a moisture content, I believe it's 8%, but don't quote me on that. If it's got a moisture content higher than 8%, then it becomes a problem. So this is a procedure that I've had a few people ask me about, and there's a lot of misinformation on how to do it properly. I believe they probe it. So you can see how much of it is hot there. Very, very small amount. And that's all you need to burn the tang in. takes just the tip. That's it. Just the tip. If it's wood, then they'll unbox it for you. Customs is pretty tight on that kind of thing. Same with knives. Yeah, it's the same with knives. If you send a knife to Australia, they'll unbox it and test it. Make sure that it can't be opened. If it's a folding knife, they'll make sure it can't be opened with one hand. So if it can, it's illegal. Even flippers are starting to be banned now. Yeah, well, that's one of the ways that they get around it. Cool gel. All right, I'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep an eye out. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for cool gel, Roy, for sure. And this is why a lot of people who burn in their tangs don't get it right. Is because burning into tang is a very slow process. It's very, very careful process. If you try and rush it, then you will screw your project royally. So yeah, I'll keep an eye out for that, Roy. Thanks for the heads up. I'll definitely look that up. Sometimes burning in the tank can take me up to 15 heats if I'm doing it slow enough. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And you'll see how tight it gets doing this. Yeah, that sounds really cool, Roy. I'll definitely keep an eye out for that. But yeah, as opposed to heating the whole tang up. That's what people tend to do when they burn in their tangs, is they heat the whole thing until it's glowing and then push it in so that there's giant billows of smoke and stuff. And it looks really cool. But what you end up doing is charring the inside of your handle material so badly that the glue won't hold to it. And you end up with nothing. My hair's falling out. I'm getting old. Yeah, right. Fair enough. Anything with a moist content will protect your hand from heat. And I suppose the flour creates a density that means that it takes longer for the heat to dissipate through the material. Wet cloth. You can take a torch to your hand, but water will heat up quickly because it's got a low density. So I imagine it's the same. You could always reheat treat, but I don't want to because it's so thin now, because I've done my finishing grind, that reheat treating it would be very, very difficult. I was in here for a reason. And that's these needle files. Yeah, to be honest, if I'm reheat treating this point, yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Wonder what the chemical composition of it is. I'll have to look that up, Roy, because that sounds like it would make my day. And all I'm doing now is opening up the tang. Bring the camera down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Opening up the tang slot because where I'm burning up to, the tang flares quite a bit. And the top of the tang hole is not quite wide enough. And I'd much prefer to work slowly and have a nice solid tang fit up that requires very little glue than have to fill a giant hole with epoxy. Because as much as the epoxy will hold things together, I don't like relying on it. I much prefer to have a very nice tight fit up from the start. And also while I'm doing this, I'm filing out that charred material on the inside, which there isn't much because you've got to remember that I'm using a very, very small amount of heat. So the only material that's charred is the webbing that's in the way. Mechanical joints are best for the yes. Yeah, that's kind of true. I mean, the epoxy is less likely to expand in the joint because it's relatively chemically inert, but especially on historical builds like this, the less epoxy I can use, the better, because I find that it feels a lot better. And also, epoxy isn't normally as strong as the material surrounding it. Even if it's harder, it's not as strong. There we go. Now I'm making project progress. Just had to widen those shoulders out a little bit. Ooh, yeah. I like a good burn-in. There are quite a few makers out there these days that will tell you that burning in your tang is the worst thing you can possibly do. I don't subscribe to that theory. I just don't think they were doing it right. Yeah. So the wood is a native Australian wood called Jarrah. It's a very, very hard, dense wood and incredibly plentiful here in Australia. It's a form of eucalypt, which, funnily enough, a lot of eucalypts are softwoods. This is ridiculously hard wood. So again, we go back to the files. Widening the shoulders. Thanks, Doug. Cheers for checking into the stream, mate. Yeah, I suppose that's true, but you also have access to a lot of native woods in America, like maple, hickory, ash, that kind of thing, that we don't have access to. And while the wood's pretty, it can be very brittle, which means it's not very good for axe handles or anything like that. You get pretty sick of Jarrah after a while. Hey Alex, yeah, it's a relatively busy stream. Yeah, Jarrah is like the only reasonable wood that you can use for a lot of stuff here in Australia, which means that pretty much gets used for everything, which gets really boring. Cool. Yeah, well, poplar is another wood we don't have. We actually had it for a little while. There was a company here that was importing red oak and poplar from America, but they ran out of business. I'd love to get my hands on some more poplar. Awesome wood to carve. Again, getting rid of that charred material down in there. Yeah, well, the Japanese use magnolia, which is a form of poplar, because it's low acidity. And that's one of the reasons why I want some, is for making scabbards and such. Because unfortunately, the tannins that are in Jarrah and the various other hardwoods that we have here in Australia are very bad for steel. That's why I mostly specialize in making leather sheaths for my knives. The tangs themselves are protected from... Yes, it is. It is the handle for the dagger. Cow horn I polished up. It's actually sitting up there on the shelf. I'll show you in a second. Just going to file this open a little bit more and get rid of that char on the inside. Like I said, there's not a lot of that. So there's the horn now that it's polished up. You can see a couple of the golden highlights. So yeah, that's the dagger bolster. Nice and shiny. Yeah. You see, for a show like Forged in Fire, I would definitely not do a burn through, because it requires you, like the fact that you're under a time restraint. Thanks, Roy. Greatly appreciate it. I hope I do. Some days I'm not so sure. Yeah, man, this is awesome. Love this. Love the Burns-O-Matic. That'll be awesome, Ouroboros. I'll flick you a message. Would Facebook be good? Getting caught up on the shoulders. No risk of the tang melting, thankfully. Yeah, I might do an Instagram. Find you on there. Luckily, there's very little risk of it melting the tang with MAP gas. Yeah, Facebook can be a struggle. It is for good. It's good for certain things. I'd actually prefer a LPG OX02 or an oxyacetylene kit for this kind of work, where I can get a very fine flame. But it works. I make it work. But yeah, back to what I was saying about straight propane requires oxygenation. Like, this is MAP gas, which is basically propane and butane mixed together, and creates a little bit of a hotter flame. But the thing is, it requires oxygenation through the use of a venturi, which is what that little slot is, which means that you need a relatively large size of flame than when you've got oxygen and acetylene, or oxygen and propane, or oxygen and LPG, which is what we have, liquid petroleum gas, which is propane and a little bit of something else, I can't remember. But yeah, it requires, that oxygen allows you to get much, much finer flame, which means that you get a much more isolated heat. And that's how you can cut steel with it. You can't cut steel with straight propane. That would be awesome, Roy. Unfortunately, I mean, I'd be really, really, really happy to see you come over here, but I doubt that you'd come over to Perth. Centre of smithing in Australia is over in the east. And much as I'd love to fly over to the eastern states to do a class with you, I can't afford it. So if you ever get to Perth, I'd love to catch up. Maybe help set you up for a class. And yeah, Valhalla is definitely right. Come in the winter, because our winter is like your spring. Mostly sunny days, up in the mid-70s most of the time. Snowblower, yeah. Yeah, the difference between Kuwait and here is the humidity. The humidity is much higher here. And you're more than welcome to trade places. I will gladly go to the US and you can come in. Well, that'd be great, Roy. It'd also be awesome to meet you. In person, that is, obviously. Yeah, well, as I said, Jared, you're more than welcome if you want to fly over here and pay me to go over there, I'll gladly trade places with you. Well, it's about 83 degrees today, and we're sitting at about 65% humidity. No, it's gonna be adhered with epoxy. I was making a point earlier, I think. That's right. The reason that the guys on Forged in Fire hate burning in tanks. Part of that is because of the prevailing opinion of the American Bladesmith Society, which is that burning in tanks is a terrible idea. The other bit is the fact that when you're burning in a tank, as you guys have probably noticed sitting here watching me do it for the last however long it's been, is that if you're doing it right, it's a relatively slow process in order to get the best fit up. But the guys on the show are on a time limit, on a very, very, very... I'm on the other side. Yeah, I'm on the other side of the country. I'm about 3,000 kilometers away. About 2,000 miles away from the capital. Yeah, fair enough. See, I don't mind cold humidity, I just don't like hot humidity. Yeah, mate, you could have all the fun. We could make a YouTube show out of it. Trading countries. Vegemite is awesome. There will be no naysaying of Vegemite on this channel. Alright. And now, because it is just really salty, basically. And now, because I've been constantly semi-quenching this tang with the wood, it's going to be semi-hard. So I'm going to reheat this section just beyond critical temperature, and I'm going to let it cool down naturally. It's not something a lot of people think of, but the thing is that wood, even when it's completely seasoned, still has some moisture in it, so it does quench the steel somewhat. Deal, Jared. Absolute deal. I'll send you some Vegemite and you can enjoy the rich culture. The trick with Vegemite, you don't have it thick. It's not peanut butter. You don't drink it, like, you don't slather it on your bread. Everyone that I've met that wants to try Vegemite, the first thing they do is they make themselves a Vegemite sandwich and they just blast it on there like they're having, PB&J. But no, you scrape it thin and you have it with cheese. Always have it with cheddar cheese. Not that American, whatever you call that, Monterey Jack. American cheddar. Cheddar is not supposed to be orange, guys. So yeah, I'll let that cool naturally in still air, as my once favorite channel used to say. Yeah, Tim Tam shooters, mate. Oh, we're harkening back to last night, are we? Making sure my tang's straight, because the pressure of quenching it into that wood so many times bent it a little. That's okay. That's what, straightening was for. That's true. Provolone. Yeah, cheesy might do it. Fake cheese and Vegemite just doesn't work. Okay, so I've got to wait for that tang to cool down. In the meantime, I now have a tang hole. Provolone. Yeah, probably not good for Vegemite in that case. I'd take Valhalla's word at that. If he's had it, I've never had provolone. Hey, Yames, how you doing, buddy? Yes, I do. That's why you'll notice that the tang shoulders, if I get the thing out of the way, you'll notice that the tang shoulders are about the width of the bolster away from the... You do! It is! It's daylight outside. Look! Isn't it? It is indeed daylight outside. Holy, whatever. Yep, but that's good. That will do nicely. And because it's nice and tight, you can see blade doesn't come out, which means that when I go to fit this up, it's not going to rattle or anything like that. It's not going to shift on the tang, which means that I'm not going to get a problem. Yeah, so as I was working, you would notice probably, well, maybe you didn't notice, that I was filing using needle files, little baby needle files like this, to file out the charred surface. The wonderful thing about burning it in as slow as I did is that you basically, very little of the material is charred. So you end up with a relatively clean hole. And what little char there is easily scraped out with a little bit of file action. But I'm already starting to see brown dust come out rather than black, which means that I'm past the worst of it. And the fit-up's so tight that I don't have to worry about the epoxy holding on to the tang so tight, because the wood itself will hold on. The epoxy will just fill whatever small gaps there are, which there shouldn't be too many. So that's the start of it. Yeah, at 11 p.m. God, you guys, yeah, it's late over there, isn't it? What are you guys doing up? Yeah, that's it. I was planning on doing this live stream a little bit earlier for my friends in the United States, but unfortunately things just didn't go to plan. But I do love the community that we're building here on YouTube. So many nice people. Yeah, that's not too bad. And we can thank people like Roy and Yames for creating that community for us. Hopefully we continue to build this wonderful community. And the reason I don't include Alex Steele in this, overarching talk about the blacksmithing community on YouTube is because he is kind of moved past that. He's now in the entertainment field. And he doesn't really do much of the... Well, you're doing a fantastic job, Yames, because pretty much everyone who comes to my channel, who talks on my live streams, immediately goes, "Hey, have you seen Island Metal Blacksmith's channel?" And I go, yes, I have. But literally, nearly every person that comes onto my channel immediately says, "Hey, have you seen Yamez? Have you met Yamez?" I'm like, "Well, no, I haven't met him, but I've seen his channel." Alec is wonderful. There is nothing wrong with Alec. My problem with Alec isn't... Yeah. Well, I'm not giving you all the credit, Roy, but you are definitely one of the main people. Tim from Big Dog Forge, John Switzer from Black Bear Forge. You guys are all in that wonderful pantheon of people creating an awesome community here on YouTube. And I hope to kind of help expand it and populate it as much as I can. But yeah, you guys are definitely the pioneers on that stage. Honestly, again, Alec is an awesome worker. He's an awesome smith. But he's now gone to the point where he's beyond communicating with his audience. I would love to, Yamez. Unfortunately, I am a desperately poor blacksmith who works for himself, so my chances of getting out of this country in the next 2 years is very, very small. I'm hoping that 2020 might be my year, because next year I'm actually liable to do my journeyman smith test with the ABS, which means that I would be flying to Atlanta for Blade Show, which is I think in June or July, not sure, but yeah, I'd be flying to Atlanta, and part of the plan would be to stay in America as long as I can and visit many people as I can. So if I could catch up with you at some point, that would be friggin' awesome. But yeah, so that's in the plans for 2020. We'll see how we get there. I think we budgeted at the moment. It's going to cost us like 20 grand because it's not just going to be me. It's going to be my wife and my son as well. So yeah, the trip won't be cheap, but it'll definitely be worthwhile. But before I do that, I'm planning on doing my Journeyman Smith knives, which will be part of my process over this next 2 years. We'll be showing you the build process on those. Much similar to the build process on these, funnily enough. And that's already cool. There you go. Now, one of the after effects of burning in is that you do get a little bit of this schmutz on it. So yeah, you will have to sand that off, but that's why I left this at 400, not 800. Oh, that sucks, Ouroboros. I've kind of moved away from solid fuel for a while, but I still have my solid fuel forges, and during winter I can use them, and unfortunately during summer, if I use them, then I can get a $10,000 fine. So, yes, I will let you know, Roy, if I'm coming to Blade Show. I will let you know, and we should make something happen. Maybe like catch up or something. That'd be awesome. Quad state, yeah. Well, I actually don't know what quad state is, so you'll have to forgive me not knowing things. But yeah, I mean, I mostly use gas these days anyway, gas forges. But a good burnout should mean that you notice how the blade is perfectly in line with the side of the block. It's straight up and down, square with the block. So I don't have any adjustment to do. Now, that can happen. Occasionally what will happen is that because of the grain, because of the way that it was drilled, you will get it twisted and stuff like that, but that's why I use such a large block for a small knife. And I always use more material than I need, because you can take material off where you need it. Well, you're more than welcome to hang out and tease me anytime, Roy. I appreciate the encouragement. What's that? Oh, that's cool. Ribbon Werner Forge? Yeah, I haven't got a Ribbon Werner Forge. I actually have a friend of mine, Jake Mantell, who actually built a giant Ribbon Werner Forge. And it's called the Beehive, I believe. And he's got a couple of videos on YouTube. It's 5 Pants Fabrication. The Beehive is massive. It is the biggest forge I've ever seen. Huh. I'm not sure if he's ever planning on making more of them, though, because apparently it was a massive pain in the butt. Yeah, that's... I still haven't done my channel intro video. I really should do one of those. I mean, Valhalla Ironworks, if you haven't checked out his channel, he actually did his first thing, and his intro video is spectacular. I want to hire him to do mine. But there you go. So that's nice and fit up. Beautiful. A little bit of gapping around the blade, but unfortunately that was kind of unavoidable. But yeah, so that sits perfectly, fits perfectly, and that is going to be the dagger handle. Yeah, my intro should be just hand sanding blade. Well, yeah, I mean, it seems to be something that I'm really, really good at. Hand sanding. Lots and lots of hand sanding. Yes, live streams. You're famous for your live streams, Yamez. Your live streams go so well compared to mine. Although, you know, they're getting better, obviously. Mine's a timing issue. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. It's going to be really cool. This one's going to be engraved, so the handle is going to be carved. Are you really? I don't know what you mean. Oh, gem. Right, yeah. Well, I don't know if you are, but if you are, then be careful not to drop yourself because you might crack. Right, that's what I was doing. Guys distracted me. What am I doing this live stream thing for anyway? Oh, look, a pencil. Ugh. Look at that. Found one. Yeah, you should do a live stream, Ouroboros. That'd be cool. The moment I stop looking for something is when I find it. Well, you know, as long as you're learning. That's cool, Brian. That's cool, man. It's a very worthwhile task. Yes, I think we're all jealous of Ouroboros for being able to do a collaboration with Mr. Switzer. I think we're all very, very jealous. Lucky, lucky. Very lucky. I think most of us would give our left leg for that opportunity. Why does that not look square? It's because it wasn't square. Because Sam was being a dum-dum and not paying attention. Well, it's the only way you can honor a tool is by using it. I kind of cry every time I go to someone's house and they have some form of old tool rusting away on their front lawn as an ornament. I have a friend who has a 95 kilo Trenton anvil from the States that they use as a lawn ornament. It sucks. It really sucks. Well, that's true. Very cool. Stanley number 4. That's nice. Yeah, as my live streams get more crowded, I will get less work done. That's true. Mate, if you want to do that, I'll get you back, I'm sure. Cheers for signing in, Jared. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, it might not get here in time, unfortunately. Running down the clock. Yeah, no, I wouldn't bother, mate. It's not gonna get me there. Cheers, Jared. See you later, mate. God, the grain was splitting in that direction. Ugh. If the grain's splitting in that direction, I might be able to cheat. My saw ran off course, unfortunately. That's okay. I might be able to just cheat a little bit. Back in 2. Got to just axe this handle of question. Do it so you guys can see it. Love a bit of axe carving in the morning. Helps to have a really sharp axe. It's an axe that I customized myself a couple of years ago. No, I didn't go to Jared's. You went to Jared's, Ouroboros? Stabilized. No, it doesn't have to be stabilized. Most of my woods, like the wood I'm working right now, isn't stabilized. Cheers, Roy. Thank you very much for checking in, mate. I really appreciate it. You keep up the great work yourself. I'll always be, checking in on those videos. I love the series you're doing at the moment, mate. Yeah. I make my own micarta, actually. Funnily enough, I have a block right here. Nice hard block of micarta. Ah, Jared's. Jared's being a jewellery store. I don't go to jewellery stores. Not jewellery type. Although, I do have this really killer chainmail bracelet made by the one and only Valhalla Ironworks. Yeah, cool, Yamas. I'll check that out. See, on this side, the grain's splitting the wrong way. Do some stop cuts. That'll do it. Any further, I'm going to cut into my lines. Oh, it's getting warm in here. Yeah, I've heard that too. Thanks, Ouroboros. Thanks for checking out the channel. And you take it easy. I will look forward to that build with bated breath. I really enjoyed your the work you did on the rivet header for the nail setter for that ship program. That was awesome. Have a good night. Cheers for checking in. All right. So I've taken a tracing of the guard onto the face, and now I've trimmed down the sides so that it's thinner. Dude, you don't have to do that. Don't worry about it. It's alright, I'll work it out. I've got plenty. Don't sacrifice your wood collection for me. Well, I appreciate it. Fair enough. Well, if you'd like to, that would be awesome. You've got my address, I'm pretty sure, from when you sent me this. Yeah, you're stalking, for sure. Should have done that earlier, but that's alright. Not stalking. I should have ground the face of this guard earlier. Still needs to be seasoned a little bit, but that's fine. We will make it fit. Now I've got to figure out where I put my pencil down. Keep putting things down. The micarta donut. Oh, that sounds interesting. I'll have to check it out later when I'm not streaming. Nope, not behind my ears. That's a classic for me. Sticking my bloody pencil behind my ears. If I were a pencil, where would I hide? Somewhere Sam couldn't find me. Because he'd just lose me again. Oh dear. It's right in front of me? Yeah, probably, somewhere. Where exactly is the mystery? Hey, Aaron and Wood, yes, it is warm today. Not hot per se, just warm. I don't even know what the weather is like today. Can't see it without closing the stream, so. I'd say it's in the mid-30s. That's what I'm thinking, Yamez. I'm really good at that. Oh, God. Way too fat to be bending over too much. I didn't drop it, I don't think. Pieces of spring steel all over the place. Swear to... Oh, there it is. Found it. Honestly, I'd lose my head if it wasn't sewn on. No, I didn't drop it. Come back. But I didn't drop it though, so that doesn't count. Oh dear. I knew I was going to run into this problem. Yeah, do that. I knew I was going to run into this problem eventually. I'm almost out of belts. I got one sharp 60 grit belt left and 10 handles to go through. And the closest distributor of belts is Gamico. And Gamico charge a fortune for shipping. And I have no money. God, I love getting myself into these situations. Well, that's okay. We'll soldier on. Ears, eyes, and lungs. Last 60 grit. And then alright, yeah, Miz, sorry if I missed you, mate, but thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you coming out for the stream, mate. Take it easy. Yeah, well, I'm mostly the same, iron and wood, but at the moment, I don't have $400 to order a large order. Yeah, we have to drink every time I drop something. So it's starting to take shape. Right, what do you reckon? Finished? Just kidding. Let's go inside. I need to find the measurements. Is you won't be able to live stream on YouTube until you have 100 subs. So once you've got 100 subs, you'll be able to live stream. So if I can help you get to the 100 subs, I will. And then you probably outshoot me in a month. Well, you don't necessarily have to create content. If you can get 800 or 100 subs without creating content, then all you have to do is advertise your YouTube channel on your Instagram feed, and if you do alright on Insta, then you can transfer those Instagram views into YouTube subs. Though it doesn't always work like that. A friend of mine, M. Talvik Forge, although I think he now goes under Neil Zogren, he has quite a number of Instagram followers, and he does some pretty awesome YouTube videos actually, but he has very few YouTube subscribers. Well, yes and no. Justin Y is a perfect example. Justin Y is a channel that has never uploaded a video and yet has something like 63,000 subscribers. He's the exception rather than the rule, but it acknowledges that it's possible. Now, we have a problem. That problem is that I can't find the drawing I did for the ski and do. And if I can't find the drawing, then I can't make the knife. So that's empty. That's that. This is why you should always maintain an organized workshop. Because I'm, like 100% not projecting my failings onto everyone else. Very irritant. Oh, there it is. Isn't that nice? Something tells me that handle looks a little small. Actually, it's actually not too bad for a ski and do. It's supposed to be a sock knife after all. Knife to be worn in the stockings. Ah, right, cool. Well, that's nice. I did find the drawing, thankfully. So I don't have to worry about that. Well, yeah, you don't have to queue up, so you can stream away to your heart's content. Lucky you. I had to wait a month. Let's cut it to 90. That gives me a bit of wriggle room. Yeah, that's true. I got pretty lucky. Let's go to 100. I did all right. Yeah, something like that. Some days I'm not so sure. Alright, back out to the shed. Whoa. And then he thinks it'll be lunchtime. Because it's getting bloody hot. I mean, it's a beautiful day. You guys like the high Australian blue sky. Doesn't get much higher than that sky. Not a cloud in it. And lots of dead grass. Click. Plug you in. Quality content. Yeah, well, I mean, teaching is very important in person. And I do classes myself, but I also like to use YouTube as my teaching medium because I can reach people all over the world, like yourselves. Ears. Oh God, I keep pointing at my eyes. Ears, eyes, lungs. Well, I'm glad you've learned something, Bryant. Lots of exposition. All about exposing myself and my passions. Oh God, I'm turning red. Alright, so there's the roughed out handle on the grinder, but I think this specific build is going to very much be better if I do most of the final shaping by hand with files, because as my grinder is great, it's not too much material with the grinder than it is with a file. So, filing it is. Just checking my dog. Oh, such crap everywhere. Oh, that's where that went. Cool, I'll have another blade to put on the blade show. And I've got some arrowheads. Nice, what else is down here? Random crap. Ooh, spearheads. And a spoon. And my little filleting knife. It's amazing what you find. But this is a little beauty. I love this little knife. It's one of my earlier ones, but this thing is just so adorable. And I love the shape. So I'll refinish that. And that can come with me to the knife show. That one was forged out of a file. The community's not that critical of makers at shows, as long as you're humble. And I am by no means a master, so there is no reason for me not to be humble. But I am fully prepared to have my asshole torn out by various makers who think they're better than me. Oh, I'm not doing Blade Show this year. That'll be next year. And I am perfectly prepared for them to tell me exactly how horrifying of a bladesmith I am. I have had my gear reviewed by a journeyman smith, who is soon to be a master smith, Bruce Barnett. He personally viewed a lot of my work. I've also had a bit of my work looked at by a mastersmith, Sean McIntyre. He had a look at my work, so I'm already fairly familiar with how I am, you know, how critical they can be. So yeah, I'm not worried about that one bit. They watch them do one on someone. What do you mean, like do the testing? Are you talking about the practical testing or the judging? Because there are two sections to the ABS. Testing. One of them is far more critical than the other. Everyone thinks it's the practical test that's the important one. It's not. It's really not. It's not the practical test that... You talking about Liam Hoffman? Yeah, well, Liam didn't actually show his test on YouTube. He only showed a meeting he had with Jason Knight just before he went. And Jason is a mastersmith, but he wasn't on the panel. And while Liam does make quite a few axes, it's what he's best known for, he's also a spectacular bladesmith. I wasn't half surprised that he won, that he got in to the ABS JS Hall of Fame. Yeah, they can be very critical. Like I said, I've already had my knives looked over by a couple of members of the ABS. Mano a mano. Got some reviews and got some advice. So I'm more than prepared for when I do eventually go to Blaze Show. I know what they can be like. Well, it is a family channel. As long as your family doesn't mind a little bit of swearing occasionally. You'll notice I never swear in my normal videos, only on my live streams. My live streams are where I can let loose a little bit. On my normal show, well, on my normal videos, I remain mum. Yeah, no homos implied. It's always a very subtle homoerotic undertone in the chat when Valhalla is around, at least. I like my Carter Jewelries, they're nice. Totally gonna have to vacuum in here after this. Hey Sylvia, how you doing? Welcome back to the stream. Currently working on the handle of that dagger that I was working on last night. Did I leave the friggin' bolster out there? I think I did. Sam is a dum-dum. Well, it doesn't matter if it doesn't transfer to text too well, Aaron, as long as we know. The whole idea that everyone else doesn't know is kind of part of the joke. Besides, I'm not so unsecure in my sexuality that I have to worry about what other people think. I have bigger things to worry about. So, horn isn't actually part of a knife. It is part of this knife. There it is. I did take it in with me. The guard is made of horn, or the... Indeed, that is the point, Aaron. The guard on this particular knife is horn. It's coming up. It's coming up okay. It is a dagger. Well, it's not quite there yet, right? But it's certainly getting there. It's a ski and do. A Scottish stocking dagger. Certainly getting there. Might be able to do an engraving stream tonight, provided I can get this finished. Bit of chatter. I don't mind katana, Japanese swords in general. And no, I won't be maker's marking these, because I don't have one, unfortunately. Suppose I can engrave it into the handle, but at this given moment I do not have a maker's mark. Normally I stamp it, but I don't have a stamp anymore. Some Japanese swords are awesome, others are terrible. actually, I'm currently working on one with a fellow smith, Flynn Sharp. We started development of a Honsanmai Honsanmai Shinogi Zakuri Wakazashi. That one has been put on hiatus for a little while Flynn works full time. But yeah, we'll be definitely getting back to that at some point. So there will be some Japanese sword action on this channel at some point in the future. Guys can't see what I'm doing. Truing the profile. Oh, the stamp, yeah. Axes and Spartan swords. Spartan swords. Are you talking about the Falcata, or...? There are a number. Sparta. Hey, Techron, how you doing, man? I am doing okay. Yeah, I don't know. I've got the design. My design for my channel is actually my design for my business logo is the stamp that I want, but getting it made is rather expensive. Yamez said hi, Techron. He was here earlier. He had to bugger off and do some work or something. Something inane like that. Who works these days, honestly? Cheers, Brian. Thanks for hanging out for so long, mate. Greatly appreciated. Glad you could join in. British? Well, we're part of British. We're part of British rule. We are part of the Commonwealth, much like Canada. We are part of the British sovereign, but hey Connor, how you doing, mate? Yeah, we are part of British sovereignty, but we're not British. We are Australians. Yeah, we're definitely not Brits. And we're miles and miles from Britain. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, well, Hugh Laurie can talk. He is a bloody Brit. Yeah, I saw that you sent me a photo, Connor. I'm sorry I haven't had time to have a look at it. I will get around to it at some point, I promise. As you might be able to understand, I've been very busy. Just a teensy-tiny bit. Stream after stream, that's correct. The streams keep me going, man. They keep me excited to share information with people. If I wasn't doing these streams, I'd probably end up cactus. Yeah. Hey, Helen, how you doing, mate? On one handle, yeah. I've got a lot more work to do on the others before I can get to handling them. I'm carefully moving towards having it finally fit for the guard. I do have a 2x72. Yeah, no, I've used the 2x72 to do the most of the roughing. Now we're on to fine fitting. And that's best done by hand. High grit on fast speed's good for finishing if you've got flat things or round things that don't require a lot of work. But the thing is that grinders don't do complex shapes very well. So it's much easier and much more controllable to do most of this work at the table. Hey, Billy. I did tell you that I was going to try and do a live stream before the morning. Or your nighttime. Where's that pencil? There it is. Need a little bit more along here. A lot more right there. That's good. Maybe a little bit there. We're almost there. Almost there. Using a second cut mill file. Nice, soft, smooth file. Removes very little material. Once I get the fit up done to the guard, I can dispense with the light material removal. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know if she's one of the 4 people watching. I don't think so. She checks in occasionally whenever I have a live stream. She watches it while she's at work. A bit more around here. Right there. My mother is dedicated to seeing me succeed. So I keep telling her to stop watching my live streams because I have more failures than successes. That is like asking how long is a piece of string, Hanneman. Depends on the knife. Fit up's nice. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice, very nice, very nice. I can do away with the vice now. We all have our vices, and this is one of mine. Ha 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 ha. No, I'm not. This is a hidden tang. They were traditionally hidden tang knives. Yep, it's a hidden tang. No, I'll have a little pin. It'll have a small pin. Coming together. Just Jarrah Techron. Just Jarrah. Some spare Jarrah I had left over. I wanted a nice straight grain piece. Because I'm planning on carving into this. And too much grain movement is detracts from the carving. Yeah, I am a big fan of puns, Connor. It's like last night's stream's title was a pun as well. Back to Texas now. Not sure I get the reference. Yeah, where were you, Dustin? Oh, no, it's not Dustin. Daniel. Getting my D's mixed up. Maybe it'll be very riveting. I may actually have to do a carving stream, so I'll probably call it Carving Out a Niche. I'm probably going to do rotary carving, so I'll do it with a high-speed burr on a Dremel tool. I don't think anyone thought that, Connor, but thank you for the clarification from my American friends. I think most people are aware of the spelling differences. Fortunately. Well, no, because England spells mum M-U-M as well. That's where we get it from. I may actually use one of my ingredients. Well, no, they speak American, Techron. They speak American. It's an entirely different dialect. Not true, Hanneman. Not true. The first Australians, the Aborigines, didn't really do much wrong other than be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And over 50% of the the original Australian population were sailors and guards and policemen. Yeah. If you're part of the first generation, then there is an equal chance that you are descended from a wealthy landowner, police officer, or guard, than you are a criminal. Because while we were a penitentiary colony, there were people sent to guard the criminals. And then when it was realized that Australia was quite a fertile land, they sent a hell of a lot of rich people over here. Because, you know, land and cattle and all that kind of thing, very valuable. So those seeking to increase their fortune set out for Australia to seek it. For instance, my family on one side goes back to the early days, and my ancestor wasn't a convict, my ancestor was a prison guard. Originally he was sent here for a 4-year tour. He ended up staying on because he liked the country so much. Married a very wealthy cattle baron's daughter when he moved over here from England. So yeah, not all of us were raised from convicts. That feels good. It looks good. What do you reckon? Not too thick. Feels really good in the hand. I wanted a nice full handle. Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't a dumping ground for sure. The reason they sent the convicts here was partially to get rid of them, but also partially they needed workforces to help tame the land, because the land was wild, covered in brush and all kinds of horrible stuff, and so therefore they needed workers. So most of the convicts that were sent here were indentured labourers. Most of them gained their freedom while here in Australia, served out their term, and then chose to stay on. And in exchange for staying on, in exchange for working the land, they got given land. They were paid in parcels of land. That's why so many convict families exist today, because they served their term of sentence and they were given the option to return to Old Blighty or stay here in Oz. And if they stayed in Oz and continued to work, then they would be awarded land. Mate, if that's true, then I'm waiting for my friggin' paycheck. Mate, you and me both. You got nothing on me. I have to maintain the appearance of being Australian on a YouTube channel. No, I'm too healthy for that, mate. Too healthy to be a convict. That might just be the truth of things, Daniel. Big, yes. Lovable, maybe. A face only a mother could love. And my wife, apparently. So there's days I'm not entirely sure I trust her judgment. These jeans are rude head. Kangaroo Edward. Oh, got a knife right there. Nothing better than a good sharp knife. No, that's New Zealanders, Techron. That's true. Chris does do a pretty good job of representing Australia. To all those globehead morons. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, we're all mates here. What's my stance on flat earthers? On their head, I think. I've always liked power stance. Cheers, Aaron. Thanks for staying with the stream so long, mate. Hope you got a chuckle out of it. No, honestly, I love flat Earth. I love the flat Earth theory. I think it's awesome because it provides me no end of entertainment. Yeah, I think he's Irish. Is he Australian? I thought he was Irish. Oh, never mind. Could be either way. No idea. Yeah, there you go. Something I didn't know. Well, if it happened on Jimmy Kimmel, it must be real. It's like, I heard it on the internet, so therefore it must be true. It's cool. It looks like it's snowing on the, on the camera. Wish it was. But it's just sawdust. There you go. Ragnar Lothbrok Sanoka. Well, that's cool. I learned something. Knew I ran this stream for a reason. God, that'd be funny. Ragnar Lothbrok on Home and Away. Night, Hanneman. Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for hanging out for so long. Get some good sleep. Take care of yourself. Be safe, and I'll see you on the next one. You're doing some slumber party karaoke there, are you, Valhalla? Oh my god. What time is it? 1:30. Oh, I'm getting hungry. Well, you've probably caught the parts of my streams where I've been singing to myself. It's a common habit of mine. Thanks. I actually recorded a single once. I am a songwriter as well. Yeah. Some of my earlier videos, actually, you can hear my singing in the background. I put up a recording I did of a bunch of my songs. I used them as background music in some of my earlier videos, as kind of a joke. Wondering if anyone would pick it up. I think one person picked it up. I think Jake Mantell picked it up, but it was me. Sounds like a plan. Getting very close. Getting very close. Just looking to remove all those file marks from shaping. Got a nice kind of little bit of an hourglass shape in the middle there, which is what I wanted. It's a very comfortable handle. Should be a nice handle once it's done. I will probably do a nighttime stream tonight as well, out in the workshop. So when I do the rotary carving of this, because that will be interesting to some people. Mate, you're a legend. You really don't have to, though. You take one down, pass it around, 98 bottles of beer on the wall. Does it involve shaving your nether regions? Sounds interesting. Oh, going full ocker, mate. I'm gonna pie for lunch. Getting all Aussie up in this bitch. Gotta rock out the True Blue now. Hey, True Blue, don't say you've gone. Say you've knocked off for a smoke out, and you'll be back later on. Hey, True Blue. Love how people murder that song at like every Australia Day party ever. That's next week, isn't it? Give it to me straight. Face to face. Are you really disappearing? Just another spider race. Well, whatever you want to fucking call it. Invasion Day, Rum Rebellion. Whatever you want to celebrate, boys and girls, I do not care. Sounds like a lot of work. I'm good. I'll stick to making knives. Let other people worry about running the country. That's looking sweet. I'm going to do this last round of 400 grit. Show you the final finished product, or final fitted product. And then I'm going to go have some lunch, some late lunch, because I am freaking starving. And my phone's about to die, so if the stream cuts out randomly, it's because my battery died. Because I didn't bring the charger in from the workshop. Because I am so smart. I am so smart. S-M-R-T, I mean S-M-A-R-T. There you go. That is the finished handle of the Ski and Do, or the shaped handle. Still got a lot of work to do, but it's very comfortable in the hand. Nice polished cow horn bolster. 968 actually. Getting very close. So So yeah, the next step will be carving the handle, finishing the handle, like putting some Danish oil on it, several coats. Oh, you didn't. You freaking didn't. Oh, you did. Oh, you dingus. Oh, I'm a dingus. I'm such a dingus. Let's hope that it's the tang that's the problem. The tang's off a little bit, so I might be able to straighten that out. That's cool. But no, the reason I'm a dingus is because I didn't check to check whether or not. No, I didn't burn it. It bend it, but you'll notice it's not super apparent, but blade goes this way, handle goes this way. It's more obvious that way. Yeah, it's a bugger. But fortunately, I've got enough swell in the handle that I can shave off this side of the handle and make it all straight again. So I shall do that. That's irritating. Yeah, well, I'm going to mark it right now while I'm thinking about it. While I'm thinking about it. I'm using the file guide as a height block, and I'm marking the side that I need to remove material from. So there you go. It's been marked. It's not too bad, and don't actually need to remove that much material. Oh, I marked the wrong side. Of course I did. Of course I did. All right. Let's try that again. Yeah, there we go. So that's the side I need to remove. Babies. It's made of babies. Yeah. Laugh all you like, Valhalla. But that is going to be the end of the stream, gentlemen. plug the phone in so that I have power for when I come back to start streaming again. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the little stream that we did. Little. 3 hours and 13 minutes. That's not too bad. But I will have another stream tonight on hand carving or rotary carving that thistle pattern into the ski and do. So make sure you tune in for that. Hopefully you enjoy. Have a good night for those in the Americas, and have a good morning for those here in Australia. Cheers, guys.